Good afternoon. Most of you,
Never get a meeting started 5 minutes after this.
I'm going to try not to stand and get away the camera. Good afternoon. I recognize a lot of faces. My name is Carol Taylor. I was in IT, middle school, high school for a few years. Before that, I taught 2nd and 3rd grade. And now I am back at the classroom teaching 6th grade science and teaching STEM. And I really enjoy it. So a lot of the things that I used to talk to you about as an IT, I'm actually getting to put them in practice as a classroom teacher, which I've had a fun doing. The one thing that I want to share with you today, we're going to share presentation tools that you can use with your students that should be very helpful to you in terms of something that's easy for them to manipulate and that's fun for them to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Discovery Education. There's not an app for Discovery Education. There's an app for something called Discovery Education Textbook, but not Discovery Education websites. They would have to access it through Safari or Chrome, and all the students are automatically populated into the system. Their login information is first, last name, _ GCS for Greene County Schools. It took my 6th graders a while to be able to learn how to do that underscore. All right, but they've mastered it now, and their password is the ID number. We're going to talk about the main thing for Discovery Education is a presentation tool called Board Builder. And it's really easy for the kids to use. I was a little bit skeptical about trying it on my iPad, but it worked perfectly. We didn't have any problems. So the first thing that you need to do as a teacher, since all the students are already populated into Discovery Education, is you need to simply create classrooms. And if you cannot get in, you don't have to do this right now because it would take too long. But if you find that you cannot log into Discovery Education because you've forgotten your password or you don't have one, maybe you're new to the system and no one's talked to you about Discovery Education, if you'll email Mr. Shaw when the session's over with or sometime today, he can help you get back in. And teachers at the middle school can email me because I have access to Discovery Education. I'll be glad to help you. To create a class, you just simply go to Classroom Manager once you get in, and My Classes, and then you click on Create a Class. And creating a class is simple and easy. It doesn't take but a few minutes. It might be a little bit more complicated for high school teachers because I know you have students with that are in different grade levels most of the time in your classes. But all you have to do, you can search for students' last name, or you can just simply search by grade first. If you want to just look at 6th grade students, you can just choose 6th grade and go, and it will just populate the 6th grade students. Then you simply choose the ones that you want in your class, and over on the right-hand side, you'll see their names populate in a list. Once you've chosen all your students for that particular class, you click Save, and that class will be established for you. And so it's as simple as that. It's real easy to use. All right. After you establish your classes, then the students can then begin to build boards. When they log in, they will log in, and if I go to admin, I can log in as a student for you. One thing I found on iPads, I love them, but it takes a little bit more time. I'm a lot faster typing on my computer than I am an iPad. All right. Okay, this is what a student sees when they log into Discovery Education. And if they don't see this, if they click on My DE Services up in the upper left-hand corner where the house is, it'll take them straight back to this page. But everybody should see this upon login. What they do is they go up simply to build a board, they click on Board Builder to start their board. Before you begin letting them actually build the board, you need to build their content, their favorites, their information that you want them to put into the board. Okay, Discovery Education is full of resources. I always teach my students to click on Advanced Search, because if you don't, it'll pull up everything on that topic that you want to search, all the songs, all the videos, all the video segments, encyclopedia articles, whatever on that subject Discovery Education has to offer. And there won't be materials or information about every single thing that you tell them to search for. So ahead of time, you might want to kind of search yourself and make sure there are some materials out there on the topic that you want them to do research on. So if you type in a keyword such as food webs, because that's what my students did their project on, and you go to media type, you can kind of see what Discovery Education has to offer. There are activities, animation, audio, and they're always adding new things. The one thing I tell them to do first is search for video segments. So if I scroll all the way down and click on video segment, you can even choose particular grade levels if you want to, and for your ESL students, you can choose languages, like to see if there's a particular video on this in Spanish. Sometimes there are, sometimes there are not. I can just see, okay? If I click submit, okay, and it's pulled up, food chain, Spanish version. So there are Spanish versions of some materials in Discovery Education. There happens to be some on food webs and food chains. So when the students do their research, they don't want to choose a video for their board that's over about 3 minutes, because you don't want, when anybody's presenting something to a class, you don't want to stick a video in the middle of everything that's going to be longer than 3 minutes. So you want to keep it simple. So if I chose to use this particular video in my presentation, let me find a video segment. Here's one on the Spanish version, food webs. I would click on that drop-down arrow and add to my favorites, because you want the students to save everything they're doing into favorites. They can easily pull it from favorites onto their board so they can create a good presentation. Now, if they can't choose the drop-down arrow, I always have to make mine bigger because my fingers are wide. They can simply click on the video itself and it'll take them to this page. And they can save it to their favorites by clicking the My Favorites folder. Now, something else I want to point out that's really neat about Discovery Education is citations. Citations are already there for you. We are trying to teach our students how to cite sources. And we're starting with OSLIS in 6th grade STEM, trying to teach our students to put their web pages and their information into OSLIS, and OSLIS is a citation maker that automatically creates a citation for them. So we use that, and there's an app called EasyBib that you can use as well to teach students how to cite sources. But the thing I love about Discovery Education is if they're doing a Master Grand Challenge or some kind of performance event, they can just copy and paste the MLA presentation or citation there and paste it onto their resource page so that it's there for them. They don't have to go through a citation machine or maker or creator to make that. Okay? So if I'm going to save this video to my favorites, I'm just going to click My Favorites. They can create a folder if they want to save all their information in that folder. And notice I have several folders because I've been working with demonstrating things for my students. But if I click Add Folder, whoops, I don't think I did it. Add Folder, I can title this particular folder, and I want to save it under My Favorites. If you click on one of these other folders, it's going to save it underneath that folder. So you always want to make sure you're clicking on My Favorites, and then click Add Folder, and they can type in food webs. Okay, and they have to click the check mark to make sure that they choose that particular folder. Okay, did it work? I don't think I saw it. Let's go back again. I think I typed too fast. Okay. I think I deleted it. I have to be careful not to choose the delete button. Okay. All right, there we go. Food webs. So now I click on that folder, and I'm going to add what I just searched into that content folder, or into my favorites folder. So you get them to search everything that you want them to search about their particular topic. Now they don't. The one thing I like about Board Builder is if they don't find information in Discovery Education, they can pull information from outside sources. They can search images from the web and save them to their photo library and pull them into their boards. They can search for videos and pull them into their boards. So they don't have to necessarily use all the information that is in Discovery Education, which makes it a great presentation tool. So now if we go and let's take a look, I'm going to go back to my menu, and I'm going to go to Board Builder. Okay. So when a student starts to begin to create a board, they can choose from one of these templates, and really it's called an ocean thing, but it's just blue. There's one that's called History, and there's one that's called Notebook. They can choose whichever of those they want to choose. For 6th graders, I didn't let them choose a blank one because here they already have. If I were to choose Ocean, you have to title your board. Like I'm going to title this one Food Webs. You don't have to write a description. Okay. But you can like put some words in there to tag it, like food webs, ecosystems, things like that if you want to remember to tag your board. Okay, then you can actually save that board to that same folder, food webs, save it to that folder. All right, and here's what a board looks like. In order for a student to begin to manipulate this board and to add items to it, they need to click on the edit button at the top. Once they do that, you're in edit mode. And a little editor tools box will appear so that you can edit. They can edit the things, they can add items. When you get ready to edit a particular box or a particular item that's on the board, if you click on the title, you can actually slide it over when that gray box appears. So you manipulate the items and drag them around when you get the gray box. So you can even delete them. If you don't want a particular headline, then you can actually click on the delete button and delete that one. Okay, and there's lots of fancy things they can do, like changing the background, changing the foreground too. And they like to do that. Students like to get their color, their favorite font. So they'll enjoy doing that part of it. If you want to bring in like a video or an image from outside and Discovery Education, you would click the upload button on the photo, media, or audio. You would click on add files. You can add them from your photo library. If I wanted to add this picture of a shark and talk about him being a tertiary consumer or at the top of the food chain, I could click start upload. Okay, and it will go right into my board. Sometimes you'll get little things that'll pull up. There we go, done. But overall, there's my picture of my shark that I added from my photo library. Now my students can actually take and write information over on the sticky note about that shark and about where he is on the food in the food web, okay, or a food chain. If they want to pull a video in from their content, again, here's a video particular item. So what they can do is click on my content. And remember, I saved that video earlier to a folder called Food Webs. That little circle symbol represents a board because I created my board. I entitled it Food Webs, so I saved it in that same folder. But if I click here, here's my Spanish version of Food Webs. If I choose it, then I can put it right into my Discovery Education board. And then I would have students write a few sentences about it. Yes?
So can you write in?
Has to be on a sticky note. That's the only downfall. But now, students can make their own iMovies, and they can import their iMovie into the board as well, which they love to do. Once you get more complex with it, they love to create their own little videos and import them in here. I was going to do a ChatterPix, which I know some of you at the high school are familiar with because I heard Mr. Casiggio has been using ChatterPix quite a bit over here. But you're smiling. Okay. ChatterPix is an app that allows you to actually put a picture and allows you to create a video and put words in it, have the mouth moving. There are different apps like that, but they can even bring something like that onto their board. Like I could have the shark talking, and I would try that for you right now, but I couldn't get it to work on my iPad earlier, so I'm afraid to attempt to try it and mess up my iPad. But it is neat when you get it to work. Sometimes it has glitches. If I don't want, this is add up to 5 files of your own. Like if you have in your criteria for success that they have to do a research paper or a bubble map or a comparing and contrasting food webs and food chains, a double bubble map, and they do it on their iPad, they can actually upload the file, if it's a Pages file, to this particular board. Okay? So there's a lot of good things. This is a great presentation tool for them to use. If they want to delete some of the boxes or add new ones, they just simply go to Add Items. And you can add another media box if you need it. You can add another attachment box or another text box. So it's very simple and easy for them to use. Caution. When they first begin working on their board, you want them to do their research first. Because you don't want them going back and forth to advanced searching things and then doing their board at the same time. Because they may work on their board for a few minutes and forget to save. And then when they go to advanced search, they've lost everything they've done. So that's the biggest thing that I want you to caution your students about up front is make sure they save their boards as they're working on them before they go out and come back in. And students need to just pause and remember to do that. 6th graders tend to be a little bit fast when they're at the end of the class period and they're finishing an assignment. And I'm like, save, save. And I have to constantly remind them to do that. And a couple of them lost everything they had worked on, and then they learned very quickly they needed to slow down and save what they were doing. If they get ready to share it with you, that's the part where you definitely want to create a class first, because you have to click the share button in the top right-hand corner. And when they click the share button, this particular practice student I put in Thomas Lofton's class, but all their teachers will be in this drop-down menu. Right now, Thomas Lofton is the only one that this student has. So they would click share, and that board is now shared with Mr. Lofton. Okay, so Mr. Lofton can actually see it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like from a teacher side, because the neat thing about this is you can actually have them share the board with you, and you can click on teacher review, write a review, and then when they log back in and click on their board, they can see the review. So they can see what you've written, your comments, their grade. And then if you want them to edit it and work on it further, they can do that. All right. Real quick, what questions do you have? Anybody have any questions? I have a smart sheet for you, a smart sheet for you that goes along with Board Builder that you can use. Does anybody have any questions about it while we're logging back in?
How many presentations has your class done so far using Board Builder?
My class has done one presentation because we're learning how to use lots of tools right now, and I will show you one right this minute. Okay. So if I go to the menu and I find Classroom Manager, and I go to Student Boards, these are all the student boards that have been shared with me. Now, are some of them really good boards? No, because we got to go back and do a little bit of work on some of them. But some of them are really good. Okay. If I click on this board, okay, see if I can pull it back up. Nope. All right, let me pull one back up. Some of them lost some of their information. Okay. This is one that was started, and she shared it with me. So if I wanted to actually go back and give her feedback on this, when I clicked on Review Board, where it says Teacher Review, here's where I can give my feedback. Now here's where you want to be really careful, because if you decide to share this board, you can share it within the school, you can share it within the district, the DE community, or don't share. Most of the time you want to choose don't share unless it's just an outstanding board and you want to really share it, okay? If you want them to be able to access each other's boards, then you can share within the school, and they can research and pull up each other's boards. But that's what you do, and you click submit. Then that student, when they log back in and click on that board, they can read their review. So they're getting feedback on what you've had them submit to you. So it is a really good presentation tool. All the students have access to it. It's easy to use. My only one caution is to just make sure they continue to save as they're working. What questions do you have about Board Builder? Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. P. Pombrion, and she's going to share a special app with you that she's used with her students.
Okay, so as anyone who's ever been in a classroom, you know there are some students that just do not want to talk when they come up to present. They don't want to say a word. They hate to speak in front of people. Well, this app that I'm about to show you takes away that fear completely. This app under my presentations is called Video Star. With Video Star, it's just like, those videos on YouTube where they have song playing in the background. They don't say a word, but they hold up cards. And the cards have words on them. They flip through the cards. This is exactly what that lets you do. There's a lot of really fun stuff with this. And as you can tell, I've already found that I can put my own songs. Brain Damage by Pink Floyd. Love it. Put that up there. When you go to make a new video, you just hit the little plus sign up here. First caution. Some of these songs are obnoxious, as all get out. Such as Pink Fluffy Unicorns Dancing on Rainbows. I Can't Find My Sunglasses. There's a Cat Licking Your Birthday Cake. Backwards Rabbit. Anything by Perry Grip is going to be annoying. And it will detract from the actual information students are trying to show. So you can tell them, go ahead and use them at home, play with them, use that to learn how to use the tool. Please don't use it for class. What I'm actually going to start suggesting possibly is at the bottom you see where it says free song, artist, playlist, podcast. you can actually click on songs, and you can pull up the songs that you have on your iPad saved. Now, we all know students have already added their own songs. That's not shocking. So, I could decide, I don't know, any of these songs that I feel like. Let's go with, I actually like Conga Fury. It'll play the song for you, so you can hear it and decide, is this what I want to play? Is this exactly what I want? Once you decide you do, you hit Make Video. And you can also set when you want it to end and when you want it to start. So it doesn't necessarily have to start at the beginning, doesn't have to start, or it doesn't have to end at the very end. So you can make it shorter so that it fits what you want. So right now, as soon as you hit Make Movie, it always comes in with this screen. It starts with the camera pointing towards you. You want to turn it around? You click that button right there, it turns it around to the back camera. Because you know iPads have 2 cameras. That's easy. While you're recording, there is a scroll bar down here of a whole bunch of different ways that you can change how your video looks. So throughout the recording, I can hit record. I'll turn it down. It'll play the song while you are recording, so you can time your little cards with the song itself. Another caution, this will not record voices at all. So make sure that your students have these cards written. That helps with literacy, since we're all worried about that. They have to write small sentences. So if they can't write big sentences, they can do this and it helps. But I can change, I want to look different, I want to look like this, I want to look like this. Throughout the recording, it'll save this, and it'll make it look like this. Let me turn that down a little more. Thank you, that works. But you can change it to look any way you want. And yes, students have added all these different kind of backgrounds. My only warning for this one as well, make sure your students know stuff like this, you cannot read their writing at all. Once you're done, you hit stop at the bottom, and it will save what you've recorded. Are we good so far? For the 99% part. You can actually come down here, and that button will let you actually edit this in some way, shape, or form. Now, to re-effect a clip, I've already tried that, and it said you have to buy it. I'm not doing that, not going to worry about that with the students. They just have to do it right the first time. If they don't like it, record another one. No big deal. There is, it was modified, no. Why can I never remember this? Yeah, see, I just keep forgetting this. There it is. Mix clips. You can actually combine multiple clips together in the same video. So if you record multiple clips in your recording itself, you can put them all up here in different ways. Let's say I want to do this one. My first one, I'll do the actual video. My second one, you can use a photo. Go to your photo library and pick some random photo. Let's go with that one. It lets you move it around, resize it, etc. Hit done. Now you have that, and when you play it, it'll actually show your original video as well as that picture. So if the student wants to show, let's say with mine, they have their grand challenges and performance events. They want to show their product right there, they can leave that there and have the rest of their video going. And they change this however they want. This is freedom for the students to make a unique video. If they don't know how to use iMovie, which I don't know how they could not know at this point, my 6th graders are making iMovies beyond what I've ever seen, they can use this instead. Let's see, hit cancel not to save it. Hit done. When you're done recording, you just hit the X button up at the top, and there you go. It orders it by song, not by title. Biggest question, how do you get these from the students? There's a button right there that lets you share it. Email. You don't want them to post it to YouTube if it's for a class assignment and has students on it. You don't want them to post it to Instagram, God forbid. And send to a camera roll, that's not sharing it with you, that's sharing it with themselves. They can do that and then airdrop it to you, but that's an extra step. They can just email it to you. All right? And you can go through and you can see all the different videos you made. And like I said, each song is a bit unique and special. Yeah. Oh, trust me, there are some really, really weird ones.
I want to listen to Kitten there.
Okay.
Oh, no, unicorns. Yeah.
Wrong one.
Catbird.
Come here. Okay.
What kind of file does it send it to you in the email?
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't had students send it just yet. They haven't finished them.
It could be a file
Let's
that
get
you
in
can even upload Discovery Education.
That's what I wondered, like, if they could turn it on.
If they
Google
send it to their
Classroom.
camera roll, they should be able
But I
to.
will let you know.
Oh, there's Do You Like Waffles?
If they're already in Google Classroom, they could just turn it on there.
Yeah, there's... So, I mean, yeah.
What's the space unicorn one?
Space Unicorn? There's Space Unicorn Holiday.
They're kind of corny, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
The kids actually love it. I mean,
What was that one? What was the one about unicorns with the really long name?
Oh,
At the very beginning. Yes.
yeah. It's interesting.
Back up there for just one more second. Just take a picture of that and tweet it.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, see, there's a lot of... So, I mean, something that kids can just really like. And a lot of the songs as well are like their kind of genre. Because, you know, me, I don't relate at all to the students' music whatsoever. I'm sorry, I like something way different. So my music choices for them aren't going to work. But this one gives them stuff that they could use, that they know that they would like. Do we have any other questions? Come on, I want to know. Any questions at all? It's the last train to Awesome Town. So yeah, you can download this app. It is 100% free. Students do not need a login or anything. It saves it directly to the iPad. And it stays on the iPad,
I think it's already
so...
in self-service.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's awesome. It's even
I
better.
just went to buy it and it just gave me the cloud now.
Sweet. So that is something even you can play with if you want to put in a new presentation kind of style to wake up your kids, because you know they're sitting there and they're just like, oh, we're tired of the brain pop, and we're tired of this, and we're tired of that. There you go, something random for them. And throw in your own music taste. I have done that multiple times last year, and I have one student now who's in 7th grade who now likes German music. So,
And you said it does not record voices at all.
does not record voices. So you will have to remind your students when they do this to have cards like this. I was going to make a video up here, but it's been kind of sketchy. So like coming in and out. So all they do is they sit here, they have this, they can go and do something else, and they come back. Next card. Next card. As long as it's big, I didn't write these. I had a student actually handwrite this for me because I don't write big and pretty. I wrote what I wanted to say. But you can fit a small amount of words. This is the longest one. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Students have to know that it has to be big enough to read. I had a student who made one in my normal science class, and his handwriting was small. It was on notebook paper, and it was in pencil. I could not read it. So I said, okay, explain what it said there, or show me your notes. So that's the only bear with this. But again, it helps them practice those writing skills. God, that's loud. How do high school people deal with that? That is way too loud.
Discovery Education, on that table is an orange copy handout for you that you can keep. I was going to turn the thing off and you've got it.